Okay, I get it. At this point, story is almost a buzzword, especially when it comes to business and video content. But why is story so popular? Because good stories sell. Let me explain. But first, what are stories? In their most basic meaning, stories are just patterns that we are able to recognize and find meaning in. They're how we're able to understand the world. So, why do stories sell? In business, stories sell because they make sense of information. We use stories to find explanations or to realize something important in our experiences. Now, stories are all around us, just waiting for us to see, put together, and share. As humans, we are natural storytellers. We are constantly building narratives and stories in our heads and with each other. We create stories all the time. Literally anything can become a story. You can choose an object, find a pattern, make sense of something around you, and create a story. In business, stories sell because they appeal to everyone. Stories have been created and shared since the beginning of time. They are still around for a very good reason. Stories appeal to everyone. Think about it. When you were a kid, you would hear bedtime stories, tall tales, fairy tales. You were surrounded by stories. When we were children, some of us might have even been told false stories by our parents to try and encourage us toward or away from specific behavior. Most of the fairy tales, tall tales, and fables that we heard growing up were stories centered around teaching a lesson or helping instill some sort of moral or value. Now, the same is true with stories in business. They are used to teach the audience something. Stories help direct customers and reveal to them the value of your brand. You can teach your audience about your company values, the impact your product has, and the change it creates in your customers' lives. While stories generally appeal to everyone, just be very cautious about telling your story in a way that does appeal to everyone. You want to ensure that you are talking directly to your ideal clients and customers. If you try to talk to everyone, no one will hear you. In business, stories sell because people remember stories better than facts. Why is that? Well, let's just say that the brain can do some amazing things. For example, if you are reading about an experience like in a story, your brain will react basically the same way as if you are living it out in the moment. So if I describe throwing a ball, your motor cortex will activate just as if you are actually throwing a ball. What does that mean for your business? If you just list off a lot of bullet points, people will eventually get lost in the list or become bored or distracted. But if you can tell a story, your audience will actually live out the story you're telling them in their brains. No wonder we can remember stories better than we can facts. And don't just tell facts, build a story around your facts. So instead of saying, I created an app that generates meal plans, tell a story about it. For example, you could say, I find myself working all day at the office and then I'd come home tired and hungry or ready for a nice hot meal, only to find an empty refrigerator or missing ingredients. I'd rummage through what I had and try to make a meal out of what I could find, but I was always left feeling disappointed and unsatisfied. One day, I decided enough's enough and knew that there had to be a better way. That's when I developed an app that keeps an inventory of what foods you have and will generate a meal plan or let you know what groceries you need to pick up before you need them, like on your way home, for example. In business, stories sell because they help us connect and relate to experiences and feelings. Think about when you connect with someone in real life. Usually, you bond over shared experiences and feelings, right? That's the power of story in business. You can use stories to share an experience or evoke a feeling in your audience. Now, while customers may buy products or services from us, what businesses are really selling are feelings. Think about Coke. They sell the feeling of joy. Airbnb sells the feeling of being a local, and Cadillac sells the feeling of luxury. So, of course, we want our brands to evoke emotions in our audiences too, and the story is the best way to do that. Now, the same is true for experience too. When clients work with us or customers want to buy from us, we want them to have a specific experience, and story is a great way to lay the foundation so that they know what to expect and can experience your brand and have those feelings before they even purchase from you or work with you. In business, stories sell because they sell you. If you aren't reflected in your stories, then you're missing a valuable opportunity. The stories you tell for business don't always have to be about you specifically or your business, but they should reflect who you are, what you believe, and what you desire. Stories make you and your brand more relatable. They help people get to know you. They hear you, they see you, they experience your stories with you. So don't be afraid to share moments or dreams or outcomes and even personal stories and anecdotes. If you can give your audience a peek into who you are and the why behind what you do, they will connect with you, relate to you, and that's when they will be more comfortable making the decision to buy your product or service, taking them from audience to customer. Storytelling is vital in business, yet so many entrepreneurs minimize its importance or tell themselves that they don't have a story to tell. Believe me, if you are running a business, you have a story to tell. I've got a workshop coming up where I'm going to walk you through how to leverage the power of story for your business. If you want to be the first to know, be sure and get on my email list where I share all things video made simple with weekly video tips and tricks.